Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Un Poco Mas. My name is DannyDealz. For executive producer Hurricane Lopez, we would like to welcome you to the show. It is Sunday, April 30th, 2023, and all of us SoFi investors know that earnings day is tomorrow. Q1 2023 earnings report will be issued. So it's a huge day. If you know anything about the history of SoFi stock, usually the stock runs up on earnings and then pulls back again on market news and downgrades and shorts and student loan delays and interest rate hikes and yada, yada, yada. Everything you could think of beats the stock down. It continues to beat earnings over and over and over again as it increases the top line, also increases product and membership growth, and marches toward net gap profit. That brings us to a couple of burning questions. When do we think SoFi will make an actual net gap profit? What do you think earnings will look like this year? Just getting straight to the quick and dirty of it, I believe earnings will be a loss of 1 to 2 cents for Q1, greatly beating analyst estimates of 7 cents. The top line, I believe, will grow again, probably another $40 million plus, getting very, very close to that half a billion in sales for Q1. Um, I just want to take a look at something recently. A lot of has been made of the deposit growth. People I've seen statistics that are being posted from some online government disclosures. As you know, SoFi is a bank. They have been a bank mostly all of last year, and then as their charter became active, and then so they've been operating as a bank for like a full year now. And banks are required to file more disclosures than other like fintechs and just other public companies in general. So I'd like to take a look at an executive summary of a report that is produced by this. It's there's this agency called the Federal Financial Institutions Examination Council, and it's under this National Information Center, a repository of financial data and institutional characteristics collected by the Federal Reserve System. Um, so if you take a look at this executive summary that SoFi is required to follow all this data, look at the FDIC certificate number 26881, OCC charter number 20862. All the data is there. SoFi Bank, National Association, Cottonwood Heights, Utah, Salt Lake City. It just gives all their information. And then it's a little bit hard to see, so I suggest you could download this data for yourself. But it analyzes both the year on year and the quarter on quarter data. So I'm just going to concentrate on the quarter on quarter because in the quarter ending March 2022, SoFi had just started being a bank, so their net interest income was only about $3 million. Non-interest income for the was 44 million, and then the non-interest expense was 50 million. So I'm just going to more compare the numbers ending in December 2022 with the numbers ending in March 2023. So you see, net interest income went from 142 to 184 million, which is an increase of 30%. Non-interest income went from 145 to 174, which is an increase in 20%. And the expenses, non-interest expense, only went from 225 to 252. So that is an increase of about 11%. And then income went from 30 million to 72 million dollars. So you know, that is astonishing. That bodes extremely well for the ER. You can make what you will of those numbers, but there's all kinds of data. Um, this goes into net interest income as a percentage of assets. Um, Decreased slightly, and that's because deposits are increasing so rapidly. You have to understand how these ratios work. I'm just learning this stuff myself. Non-interest income went from 7.6 to 6.6. Again, this is as a percentage of their assets. Provision for loan and lease losses went from 0.8% to 0.3%. And SoFi is making extremely, extremely good loans. Net loss to average total I don't know exactly what these ratios mean, but if you just see last quarter, zero point 0.5, zero point 0.5, 0.17, now they're zero point 0.4, zero point 0.3, 0.15. All these are going down. And then liquidity, interest rate risk. SoFi has absolutely no liquidity problems. Net loans and leases to deposits is the ratio is like 1 to 1. Net short term, all of their ratios are extremely good. Their capitalization leverage ratio was 15%. Now it's 14%. I think they only have to be at like 6 or 8%. Total capital ratio went from 15 to 13.7, and common equity tier 1 cap from 14 to 13. And so the growth rates in their total assets were 39 to 45, net loans and leases 38, 37, tier 1 capital 19 to 23. The balance sheet, net loans and leases, they were at 7.6 million end of last quarter, or 7.6 billion, I'm sorry. And the end of this last quarter, they are at 10.5 billion. Investments have gone from 1.1 to 2.5. Total assets have gone from 9.1 billion to 13.2 billion. Total deposits have gone from 7.3 billion to 10.3 billion. So we're talking about a $3 billion increase in only 1 quarter. That's adding $1 billion in deposits per month. So that is just incredible. Anyway, enough of this particular chart. You can look at all this stuff, but I'm just telling you, the banks are required to file this, so we already know what's going to be on that ER. It's going to be an absolute blowout, in my opinion. There's just no way this company is going to keep losing money. So let's take a look at the chart very briefly. You can see what's happening here. SoFi has been trading in this wedge. It's testing this lower line over and over, and it's just breaking out to the upside. What can we expect SoFi to do after earnings? My personal opinion is this stock can only get beaten down for so long. I've always said they needed to make GAAP net income in order to get institutional investors to come back into the stock. I think what's going to happen is the stock is going to break out past this 750 level. That's just my opinion. I think shorts are going to have to let go of the stock. Shorts have actually dug in over the last week. They've actually increased their short position. So I don't think it's unrealistic at all to think that if the interest rate hikes slow down and we get a ruling from the courts that will result in student loans resuming over the summer, late in the summer, late this year, even early, whatever it is, as long as we get clarity that the student loan payments will resume within the next couple of quarters, I think the stock is going to go back up and challenge this pink level here, which is like 14 bucks. Something like that, 1375. You see, there's been buying pressure at this level over and over back when the stock first started out and went public. Then there's buying pressure again at that level on 3/21, buying pressure again May 2021, buying pressure again in August of 2021. Runs up, comes back down. We get this new kind of trend line pushing the stock down and down and down, just with market forces, everything else going on. The SPAC collapse. We know everything that happened. All these stocks went way down, and then we see the stock sort of trading sideways and bleeding slightly down for the last year. So I'm expecting the stock to challenge 750 actually tomorrow. I think is very possible. People aren't expecting that kind of run up, but I just think you look at these deposit growth numbers, you look at the profit growth. Now, I think the company could potentially, I'm not calling for a net GAAP profit in Q1, but I think it's going to be damn close to breaking even. Noto has been buying the stock, buying the dips, and he knows what's going on. So we've already covered deposit growth. I want to cover short interest. Let me zoom back out. I'm not supposed to show some of the short data. Just another point I want to make is SoftBank, a lot of people made a lot of SoftBank selling their stake in the company, but SoftBank, that guy's kind of an idiot. I don't think he's any kind of genius. He made a lot of really bad investments, and everybody looks like a genius during a bull market, even DannyDealz. But, you know, I would like to make a point. The Vanguard Group now holds 70 million shares of SoFi, which is updated on the 31st of March. That's 7.3% of the company. So if you take Vanguard, who's one of the biggest financial companies in the world, and you replace SoftBank, that's just fine with me. BlackRock on 31st of March reported owning almost 36 million shares of SoFi, 4% of the company. Chamath, I think he sold most or all of his stake. But anyway, Silver Lake's still in there with 32 million shares or 3.3% of the company. There's a lot of Geode Capital Management has 12 million shares. State Street still holds 12 million shares. So there is a lot of institutional investors. Shorts on this stock, a short score is currently 69. I want to just look at the data over the last 7 days because that's really what's interesting to me. Cost to borrow is flat, utilization's flat. Days to cover slightly increased. Shares on loan are actually up in the last 7 days from 133 to 135 million. Free float on loan is up 16.9 to like 16.92, basically flat. But the short interest is up from 11.8 to 12.07. So a little bit of a spike there. And the value of the short interest is up from 560 million to 580 million. That's just basically because the stock has gone up. But live short interest, just to add to this, I don't think there's going to be like a huge short squeeze on the stock because the market cap's too high. There's too many shares. Institutions aren't going to rush in. There's not going to be just a bull rush to cover because there's time to cover. There's days to cover. Cost to borrow is not that high at like 1% because there's just a ton of shares available for loan. But the shares on borrow have increased by 4 million. So they borrowed 9 million, returned 5 million, increased a net of 4 million. So the short has actually increased on the stock, which could lead to more buying pressure. Let me share my screen here. SoFi earnings, what's on stake? This article is blocked because I don't know why I'm not issuing my account. My free account reached its limit or whatever. I can only pay for so many of these sites. I already pay for like Ortex, Finviz, TipRanks. Spend a lot of money so you guys can get this information, and you don't have to. You have to get it through my crazy lens, but that's the price you pay. So let's take a look at this article over here on MarketBeat. Just it's of note that Jefferies Financial Group, which is a really good analyst, they're looking at Q2 numbers. This is not Q1 numbers, but they just increased their earnings estimate from 1 cent to 2 cents. So Jefferies is expecting SoFi to make a net profit, GAAP profit of 2 cents next quarter. And I just point out that the consensus estimate is 20 cents per share loss for the year. I mean, if they only lost like 5 cents last quarter and they break even this quarter, I think we will see a net profit or damn near break even for this year, which is extremely bullish for the stock. SoFi Technologies last released its quarterly earnings on Monday, January 30th. The company reported a 5-cent loss, topping analyst consensus estimate of 9-cent loss by 4 cents. SoFi had a negative net margin of 19.53%, negative return on equity of 6.1%. The business had revenue of $443 million compared to analyst expectations of 425, which was a sound beat. During the same period the prior year, the company earned negative 15%, and the company's quarterly revenue was up 58% year over year. A number of other analysts also recently issued reports on the stock. Wedbush raised from 6 to 8 on January 30th. Mizuho raised from 6 to 9 and gave a buy rating on February 15th. Morgan Stanley, who loves to hate the stock and give timely crappy downgrades, kept a equal rate rating and went from 6 to 650. Oh, very, very generous for a company that's been absolutely crushing it. And of course, Oppenheimer upped their target price from $6 to $7 and gave an outperform rating. So again, very conservative, but that's okay. Credit Suisse dropped their price target from 8 to 750 and set a neutral rating. It's hilarious. You're going to be judged by Credit Suisse. What a joke. But anyway, those guys should all be in jail, in my opinion. But in any case, again, it is SoFi stock we're talking about, ticker symbol SOFI. Earnings are coming out tomorrow. It is April 30th, 2023, about 2:40 p.m. out here in beautiful Los Angeles. So we went over some of these issues, went over the price action, what we can expect. I think the stock will break down 750 and challenge 1375. And then let's think. What is the stock going to do after earnings? Will it run up again and fall back down? That's generally what this stock does after earnings. It runs up, pulls back. It runs up, it pulls back. This is just classic SoFi. The stock is shorted, and everything bad happens to the stock around earnings. So I don't think it's going to be able to continue. Again, I hate to sound like a broken record here, but institutions don't buy stocks, trading below $5. They don't buy stocks losing a lot of money. They don't buy stocks where there is a lot of regulatory uncertainty around crypto. SoFi has been really, really getting their house in order and doing a great job. I think shorts digging in here is extremely foolish. I think Noto knows what these numbers are going to be, and he has been adding heavily at the dips, buying millions and millions of dollars worth of stock with his own money. He currently has, I think, about $36 million worth of SoFi stock in his personal holdings. So that is an extremely bullish sign that the CEO continues to buy all dips. A lot of people have made hay about, the CFO and the chief legal counsel selling some shares, but they still retain huge positions. And again, I've gone over this ad nauseum, but diversifying your personal holdings from the company you work for, you don't want to have all your holdings in one company, even if you work at that company and no matter how much you believe in them. So guys, earnings is going to be tomorrow. I would like to send a shout out. If you've made it through this video, God bless you. You have the patience of Job, but want to send a shout out to some of my people over on StockTwits who always support my videos. Boy with the ROI, of course, Ultimate Girl 63, Future Swole Noto, Real Spacking Stonks, Beam Me Ups, Ravens 1. Boy with the ROI asked, "Is this the real DannyDealz? I mean, could it be?" Of course, it's me. You guys could come have a cup of coffee with me. I am certainly approachable. My channel is minuscule, but I certainly appreciate each and every viewer. I try to bring you honest, timely information. This is not financial advice, but I do have a very large position, pure long position in the SoFi stock, no hedge. Absolutely no stop loss, absolutely no short position of any kind, of any form. I am long and strong, tens and tens and tens of thousands of shares of the SoFi stock. So average cost right now is right around $7. I've averaged down big time. I am bullish on the stock. I'm bullish on Noto. I'm bullish on America. I'm bullish on economy. I'm bullish on the world. And I really want to thank you guys for watching, spending a little bit of your weekend with me. Please, down in the comments, let me know, what do you think the earnings report is going to look like? What do you think the price action will look like after the earnings report? Do you think institutions will buy in? Do you think shorts will let go? What do you think is going to happen? I have no idea. This is all idle speculation, but I certainly appreciate you watching and appreciate you sharing your thoughts with me. For executive producer Hurricane Lopez, my name is DannyDealz. This has been Un Poco Mas. I certainly appreciate you watching, and I will bring you another video after the earnings report where we can talk about all the money we've made and how we're going to spend it. You guys have a great night. I'll talk at you soon. Thanks.